Music begin in 3, 2, 1.
Having fun,
that's what we're gonna do.
Mr. Henry,
Mr. Fite,
exploring along with you.
Learning music, having fun,
that's what we're gonna do. Mr. Henry,
Mr. Fite,
love hanging out with you.
The Music Podcast for Kids.
Hello, and welcome to the Music Podcast for Kids. We're your hosts, Mr. Henry
and Mr. Fite, music educators extraordinaire.
The Music Podcast for Kids is a fun and educational podcast where we learn and explore the best subject ever, music! Today's episode, we are learning about the recorder.
And now the music joke of the day.
We love jokes, so if you have a joke, please visit our website, themusicpodcastforkids.com, to submit your joke.
And guess what? It doesn't even have to be a music joke. It can be any joke.
We will read and enjoy your joke on the podcast and also let everyone know who it came from and where you are in this great, big, wonderful music world.
Our joke of the day is...
What does a group of beginner recorder students sound like when first playing together?
I have no idea.
A teapot convention.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Make sure to send in your jokes by visiting our website, themusicpodcastforkids.com. A link to the website can be found in the show notes.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you are enjoying the show so far.
Please subscribe to the podcast to receive the latest episodes and leave a review through iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Also, get updates on what we are up to through Facebook and Instagram by finding us at Music Podcast for Kids. Links will be found in the show notes. On to the show!
And now, the Music Spotlight.
Oh, hey there, Mr. Henry. Well, I know that tune.
Oh yeah, for sure. The white belt.
The white belt? What do you mean? Like a trendy new belt to wear for some fancy occasion?
No, like the karate belt. The white belt.
Karate? Well, I don't see any sweet karate moves there. You're just playing a
No. I'm talking about recorder karate.
Recorder karate?
Yup, recorder karate. I'm working on the white belt song, Hot Cross Buns.
Oh, wait. I think I know what you're talking about. Hot Cross Buns is the white belt song in the music program Recorder Karate.
Right, exactly. I have to pass this recorder test so I can get the white belt.
So, the recorder, eh?
Yup, the recorder is part of the woodwind family. My teacher says to use light, warm air in order to play it.
Light, warm air?
Yup. When you blow into a recorder, you don't need to blow so hard as if you were blowing out candles at a birthday party. If you blow really hard, it makes a squeaky, unpleasant sound. Have you ever tried to steam up a window in the cold with your warm air?
Oh, you mean like this?
Oh no, stop right there. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, totally. Then I usually write something in the fogged up glass like, music is the best, or I love to eat pancakes, or guitars are cool, or...
Okay, I get it. But yeah, when blowing into a recorder, you want to use your air similar to how you would steam up a glass window in the cold. It's very light, warm air.
Ah, gotcha. So what are recorders made out of?
Well, recorders are known for being made out of wood for the longest time, but now are made out of plastic. You can buy a pretty nice plastic recorder for only $5.
Wow, cool. Perfect for learning in school. The recorder was invented in the Middle Ages. That's over 700 years ago.
Whoa, that's pretty old. Recorders are made into many different sizes. The large recorders play low notes, and the small recorders play high notes. The one most commonly used is the soprano recorder.
King Henry VIII, which was a very musical king, collected recorders. He had over 70 recorders. Wait a tick. Why do they even call it a recorder? It doesn't record anything.
That's a great question. Nowadays, when we think of the word recorder, we think of a device that records video or audio. But over 700 years ago, that technology of recording something didn't exist. The word recorder came from the Latin word recordare, which basically means to remember. The recorder was simple enough to play, making it easy for a performer to remember the parts by heart.
Ah, gotcha. So the music played on the recorder was meant to be performed without having music in front of you. You had to record the music in your head or remember the music, then play it.
Exactly. So that's why it was named the recorder. Kids typically learn the recorder in music class at school, and some even get to play the tunes from recorder karate, which is super cool, by the way.
Super cool for sure. And that's the recorder.
The Music Podcast for Kids is brought to you by
Mr. Henry's Music World YouTube channel. If you are interested in learning how to play the piano with a fun and engaging curriculum geared toward kids, please subscribe to Mr. Henry's YouTube channel called Mr. Henry's Music World. Links will be found in the show notes. Again, we thank you so much for tuning in.
What's up? Oh yeah. What's up? Oh yeah. What's up? Oh yeah. What's up in music class?
So Bruce, we talked about the recorder today, which is an instrument that we teach in our general music class.
Yep.
And I have a lot of fun teaching the kids the recorder. I think it's a great instrument. We typically start in third grade, right?
Yeah.
And that's when you start as well?
Yep, third grade, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and with the COVID-19 situation we have, this upcoming year, which is going to be 2020 to 2021, right? It probably won't be teaching that. Our specific schools are doing online, which a lot are. And I think there are plenty of schools that are going back, right?
Yeah. Yeah, some are.
But even then, even probably those schools that are going back, the recorder is probably not an instrument that they would be able to play, unfortunately. So, we were thinking of maybe giving some ideas for kids, right? Because there might be a really great chance that a lot of you get a recorder and you're still going to learn, but you'll learn at home.
Right.
So, give us maybe a number one pointer from Mr. Fite's class on the recorder, like for a very beginner.
Yeah, so I always tell my students, and it sounds a little weird, I had a college professor tell me, the first lesson in playing any instrument is don't play it.
Oh,
so
there's
there's always that temptation to just pick it up and just start blowing away and you know, and making a bunch of sound. But I have them hold it. Of course, the mouthpiece should be facing up, towards your chin, and left hand over right hand, and just hold it there, just like a statue. So we make ourselves into recorder player statues.
That's good,
and so they can get the feel, just the muscle memory of. Here's how I hold it, and I'm gonna just stay still and quiet for a few seconds, and then we begin to make some sound.
Yeah, that's cool.
So.
Yeah, I love that.
How about you? Do you have any
so
special
the left hand over right thing, I think, is something that you need to pay attention to.
Yeah, sure.
And that's, some kids will, ask, Mr. Henry, why do we have to have the left hand on top? Mm-hmm. I'm right-handed, or it feels more comfortable this way.
Right.
And I understand that totally. But the real reason is because when they get into playing a band instrument, that left hand has to be on top,
right?
Or
Clarinet
you won't be able to, and saxophone, you won't be able to play it, with the other, with that combination of, if you do the right hand over the left, right, it just won't work. Right. So that's really the biggest reason. So I would say. That's definitely one of the big pointers is to get used to that.
Yeah.
Because if you do play another instrument in band, then you will already be ready for that. So one thing that I do in my class, which is helping a good bit, is I'll actually have the kids put like a gum band or a rubber band or a silly band, right? Those silly bands.
Oh, yeah.
Put it on the left hand.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, so then they remember that the left hand is supposed to be on top, and they remember that that's their left hand.
Right.
So that's something that kids at home can do.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and as they begin covering the holes, I call it the circle test, or some people call it the wart test, but the circle test where they squeeze and then they bringing their finger off and look at and if they see a little circle on the middle of their pad of their finger, they've been closing that hole correctly and pressing correctly. So we just do that, we press, and they think it's fun to, look for I found it, I have the circle, So it's pretty exciting to see that they're already getting it the first lesson, and they're already doing a great job with
that's cool.
Pressing firmly.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's a great pointer. Because then by you getting, so in my class we do call them warts, right? And funny. I say, I'll ask the kids, okay, do you have your warts? And I'm sure if someone were coming in and like observing, they'd be like, what are you talking about?
Why do these kids have warts?
Why do they have warts?
And that allows the seal, the hole to be sealed up.
Yeah, exactly.
So if any air escapes, that's when you get the squeakers.
When the squeaks, right. Yeah, you get a squeak. So
and it happens. Squeaks are normal. They're natural, but always work to squeeze. And I always tell kids too with that little trick, squeezing a little more firmly, that fixes a lot.
Yeah, it really does.
Most of the problems they have with making sound, other than the type of breath that they're breathing in.
Right, and that was the other thing. So that was the next thing I was going to say was, and we talked about that in the show too, about the warm air.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you were to fog up a window that's very cold.
Right.
It's that type of just warm, gentle air. It's actually... So you almost really don't even blow into the recorder, right? It's almost like your air is just kind of escaping. You're not really even blowing out. And I think that's definitely probably the next best pointer.
Yeah. Is
when you play, you don't think about blowing. Just think about letting air kind of seep out.
Yeah, and some kids, they get to thinking about it a little too much, and they don't blow hard. Like, it's just a teeny, and it sounds like have you ever, when you breathe through your nose and it starts whistling like
right.
And I'm like, hey, what's that sound? But
yeah.
They're actually blowing. They have a teeny
right,
kind of. So
not enough air.
So we actually I let them blow really hard just to see what that sounds like.
Sure.
And they get excited when I tell them we're going to blow, and then once we do that, of course, most of you listening probably know it hurts your ears.
Yes.
And so we only do it once, and then we never do it again.
Right.
And then they realize, oh, that's why we don't blow really hard.
Right. One thing I was doing that was a really fun activity is I was having, it was a game where we put ping pong balls on like a drum or some sort of platform.
Nice.
And they had straws, and they had to keep the ball on the platform, the ping pong ball on the platform. Nice. And that was showing how little air that you actually have to release when you play the recorder.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Because when you do that, you're really trying to get, so the kids would have to keep the ball moving, but they couldn't blow it off of the platform.
Right.
And it was a small platform that it was on.
Oh, wow.
So they were learning that and this is a game you guys could play at home. You could take a ping pong ball or something, put it on some sort of surface, like a small surface, get a little straw, and try and keep the ball moving the whole time, but don't let the ball fall off of the platform. And that's the kind of air that you really need. It's this steady, slow air, and it's really controlled air.
Right.
And so that's a fun activity to do. To help with the type of air that you would need to use. And you'll find out when you do it how little air you need.
Right.
Because if you blow just a little bit too hard, that ping pong ball is going off. Yeah.
And the beginning of the sound, I've also taught the word to or to, where you're using your tongue, and that's where that little puff of air they can feel. And I have them hold I hold the recorder away from me, and I say and I'm bringing the recorder to my mouth, and I keep doing that.
Yeah.
And then we keep saying
that's
that
cool.
to a sound.
Yep.
And for some reason, I guess they think it looks funny when I do it. And I'm like, okay, now it's your turn. Like, oh, cool, we can, So they hold it. And again, if somebody walked in, like, what in the world is going on?
What is going on?
But
yeah,
there's
it's almost
all
like
kinds
something's creeping up on you or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those are some good pointers. For,
So
for beginners.
Yeah. So beginners out there, if you get a recorder and you're like, what do I do with this? Hopefully that helps out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Time to wrap it up, folks.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Music Podcast for Kids.
We hope you enjoyed the show, and most importantly, learned something cool today about music.
Remember to send in your jokes or even a topic in music you would like us to discuss by visiting our website, themusicpodcastforkids.com. If you are interested in awesome educational and fun songs for your kids to listen and sing along with, please visit brucefite.com. Music is available to download with iTunes, CD Baby, and Facebook, and most streaming platforms like Spotify and Amazon Radio. Links will be found in the show notes.
If you are interested in learning how to play the piano with a fun and engaging curriculum geared toward kids, please subscribe to Mr. Henry's YouTube channel called Mr. Henry's Music World. Links will be found in the show notes.
Please visit iTunes to leave a review of the podcast and also share the podcast with friends, relatives, aliens, whoever.
Again, we thank you so much for tuning in.